guys? Welcome to Clash with Ash. Soon to be maybe Chat with Ash. I don't know. OJ has his own opinions. OJ, Jimmy, Yarn. I'll kick it old school, man. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. How you doing, brother?
Busy. Nothing much. I'm just living life, doing what I enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, loving life, doing what you enjoy. I'm looking right now in preparation for this chat today. I've discovered 4 of your YouTube channels. I think those are the 4 I know about. I don't know if I'm missing any. Wait, you're giving me the look. Is there only what am I missing some?
Do I have
You have
5?
4.
1, 2,
5?
3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6.
Oh,
Maybe 7. I might not do the 7th one. We got to consider my mental health here.
oh my word, dude. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health in today's chat, but first off, I got OJ, where it all started, almost 3 million subscribers. Unbelievable. Congrats. We have Peeling the Orange, your podcast, which is really, really cool. I've listened to watched every single episode so far.
Really? Oh, geez, I'm self-conscious now.
No, man, I actually really enjoy it. I mean, I make this sort of content, this long form conversation. So of course I enjoy it as well, because you always got to make what you enjoy, right?
Yep.
And then OJ Live, and then More Juice, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but More Juice, did that start out as your Cookie Kingdom Rush, whatever it's called?
Cookie Run Kingdom. Sorry. Started off as Cookie Run Kingdom. I ended up playing Cookie Run Kingdom more than Clash Royale in 2020, and I was like, this game is popping. And dude, my intuition was right, because it was one of the most popular games of that year, and I was getting 1 million views a video. It was insane.
That's what I was gonna say, bro.
People, oh, you brought your demographic over, but no, my Clash Royale demographic is a different age. It's 5% female. Cookie Run is 50% female.
Whoa, the ladies love the Cookie Run.
No, they do. Every time I'm on Tinder or Hinge or Bumble, they're like, whoa, you're the Cookie Run guy. I'm not even joking. It's like, oh that's my channel with like 100K subs. I'm not OJ from 3 million. Bro, they're like, oh my god,
you could use.
Yeah, you're More Juice. They didn't even know me as OJ, because I'm not like, hey, what's up, guys? It's OJ from More Juice, because I don't do intros.
Bullshit. You know, on your dating profiles, it's like Orange Juice Gaming, More Cookie, or I should say Cookie Run, whatever the heck, More Juice.
No, dude. I was a digital marketer. I didn't really want to market myself as that.
Good call. When I saw the this channel, though, I don't know, it's been around for 2 years. I probably caught it maybe 6 months to a year into it. I didn't even realize that you were doing this. And when I saw that you're pulling more views than your main channel on Cookie, I honestly, man, like, it's not like I questioned it, but well, I did question it. At first, I was like, no, they must be like marketing and boosting these to the Cookie, to the audience. But no, but then I looked on and the engagement was spot on. You could tell when something's boosted, obviously, right? And
yeah, when it's like boosted with a million views and there's like 10 comments, that's boosted.
Yeah. Exactly. So, man, dude, I want to start with like, I mean, I feel like you mentioned this story. I freaking Molt was mentioning this story on one of your podcasts, but the story of OJ, right, in 2016, when you just blew up, and I don't know if you hit 100,000 subscribers in a day or something like that, when you first released your content. I actually want to rewind a little bit before that. As you mentioned marketing, what did you do before YouTube? Did you have any aspirations of being a content creator?
I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was still in a crossroads in life. I was previously a ski bum. That was great. I was a ski bum for a whole year, had a season pass, went to the mountains every day. Before that, I was a manager at Sunglass Hut. I got burnt out from that. I learned everything I needed to, the top selling models, the most popular ones. RB3025 is the classic aviator from 1937 or whatever.
Thank you.
Everything that I learned, I learned everything I could about sunglasses, and I got bored. And that's what's different about YouTube, is that every day I'm learning something new, and I love that.
Absolutely, man. I mean, do you love it? I mean, this is kind of a weird question, but do you love it do you love it more, the same as when you started? Are you more passionate, less passionate?
I can't hold on to a job for more than 3 years because I get hyper focused, super passionate. I learn everything I can. Then once I've learned everything, then I get bored of it. But I haven't been bored of YouTube yet, because there's always something to learn. It's always evolving. There's different trends. There's different genres that I can take on, from podcasting to all these different things.
Yeah.
And there's just so many different angles to it, from the digital marketing aspect of it, from thumbnail creation to titles to ideation, and just the business end, the back end of everything. There's just so much to learn. You're the jack of all trades in this industry, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can tell that you love it, and you really shifted your strategy. I'm looking at your first video. I can't believe it was 7 years ago. First of all, your first video, "How to Use Lightning" by Yarn is the title. Love it,
Yep.
love it. And you came on the scene with like really strategic, in-depth kind of tutorial type content, but you've evolved over the years. I want to actually you've evolved to a variety gamer of Supercell games and beyond in your other channels. I want to ask you, kind of, I've noticed. Not a lot, but I've noticed, and this always happens when you shift your strategy, no matter what. It happens to me right now. But people sometimes are like, "Oh, I miss the old OJ, the OJ who is dropping the deep tutorials every day or every whatever month." Uh, how do you? Does that get to you?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Funny enough, people are like, "Oh, I miss the old OJ," but really, the only thing that's changed is Clash Royale. I've covered every strategy and how-to video on every single new card since 2016 of Clash Royale's launch.
There you go.
It just so happens that they've only released one card a year, which I don't agree with for different issues. I'm pro casual, and the devs are kind of leaning towards pro. If that makes sense,
Yep.
because they're calibrating the game towards pros, adding too many cards. There's the meta's unbalanced. It's harder to balance. But as a casual player, I'll just love seeing new cards.
Sure, sure. I do too. I miss the days, man. I miss the days of, whatever, Ice Wizard, Zappies, like, whoa. That
Yeah.
was fun back in the day, though, the excitement that you would get around those new cards. You mentioned Clash Royale, and you mentioned kind of a little bit of the direction and whatnot that they're going. I'd be remiss if I did not ask for your kind of, I guess, state of the game, and maybe in a broad sense, what do you think about all Supercell games? Because you cover, a few of them.
What do I think of the state of each game?
Yeah, I guess it may be state of the game, but you've been covering them for a while. Brawl Stars, Clash of Clans now, Clash, and playing Clash of Clans since before you created content. Uh,
Yeah.
so I wanted to know, like, yeah, what you've been along those journeys, and a big part of those journeys as a creator. How do you see those games right now as opposed to where they were? Are you surprised at any of the games?
I love the state of Clash of Clans right now. I just maxed out this week for the first time in 10
Town
years.
Hall 15,
I've
huh?
never had a maxed out base until now. Fully maxed out. Walls are all done.
Wow.
I mean, I did spend a little bit of money, but still, I think in the past year, I log on every day. I do 8 to 15 attacks. I think I farmed like 4 billion gold in the past 6 months.
Dude, that is nuts. It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I was just talking to Judah about this the other day, and you still get that feeling. Like, I came back to the game recently, and you still get that feeling. We're in the chess.com event together. We're like competing, I guess, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to brush up on my Clash of Clans skills, man. So you still get that amazing feeling when you find that dead base or that big loot. You're always
It
like,
is.
I was telling
Oh,
Judah.
I got the million gold.
Yeah, I was telling Judah about, dude, and I'm repeating myself here for viewers who watch both, but I screenshotted it. I don't even know why. It was just like I'm like, oh, look at this base, boom! I didn't even send it to anybody, but I had to screenshot. It was like 2 million plus loot, So
Oh, that's so
yeah.
satisfying.
What about Brawl
I just
Stars though, man? I don't play Brawl Stars. The game seems awesome and stuff like that, but you only have so much time. How's Brawl Stars doing?
I love Brawl Stars. Right now, I'm just so focused on Clash of Clans that I only have so much hours in the
Sure.
day.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Brawl Stars to really refine Mapmaker. I think Frank said so himself that to really refine Mapmaker to their final vision, it's going to take a lot of work, and they're focusing on different things at the moment.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. In Clash Royale, do you feel, obviously you still release Clash Royale content. It seems like you still enjoy yourself in the videos and stuff like that. Are you, obviously we all know what the kind of the community's been going through and Reddit and stuff like that. Overall, are you still enjoying the game just as a player?
Oh yeah, Clash
Cool.
Royale's always been fun to me. There was a point where it stopped being as fun because I was getting angry, and I realized it's because I was taking the game way too seriously. So what I did for that is I just stepped away from ladder, and I enjoyed the game again.
There you go. There you go. I guess it's sometimes as simple as that, right? A little shift in.
That's
in
why I
what
play all the goofy challenges.
It's great though. It's great. You've been able to really, like I said, you've been able to, with the lack of content, with the lack of new cards and all that stuff, you've been able to find at least a steady flow of things that are still worth making videos on, allows you to have fun, resonate with your audience, etc. What do you want your legacy to be, OJ? That's a big question for you, but do you think about that?
No, not at all. I feel like I'm pretty content with what I've done in life, and I don't care if anyone doesn't remember me. I don't know, dude.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
I don't really care about a legacy. I mean, I just do what I enjoy, and if I can make someone's day better, then that's awesome.
Awesome, man. So you
Sounds kind of
basically,
cheesy, but
no, I mean,
that's
it
I don't
sounds
really
like you're
have.
just kind of living in the moment a little bit and not thinking about things or overthinking about things from that standpoint, at least.
Yeah.
Cool. Uh, I remember. Hopefully, this isn't too personal. But I remember we
Well, you can ask
spoke.
me anything.
Okay. All right.
You can
Cool.
ask me the length of my wiener, whatever.
Wow. What's your length of your wiener? Okay. Cut. That's the cut. All right. So I remember we had a chat in Toronto. Uh, it was kind of like on mental health and stuff like that. And I remember at the time, again, I can cut this if you want to, but I remember the
No.
time that you told me that you didn't. There were a lot of days that you just never got out of bed. You know, you went through a really tough time of depression, and I don't know if that's characterized, completely. Obviously, this was like 4 or 5 years ago that we had this chat, if I recall correctly, with the Lego game. I think they were doing a campaign on.
Oh wow,
Remember
yeah,
that? And
yeah.
I don't even know where we went. We went to a house where we sat in a house alone. I don't even know where we were. I forgot
I
that.
think we were at an Airbnb and we were just
Okay.
chilling.
Okay. So anyway, but I do remember that you talked about a really dark time in your life. I'm not sure if you opened up about this on your, channels or anything like that.
It'll
But
be on my podcast soon.
okay, well, they're great, great, great. Well, maybe I'll try to get this out quick and scoop you. No, but like, so, how are you doing now? First and foremost.
I'm doing great. I really focused on my mental health in the last few years. I gained a lot of weight because of the lockdowns and just working way too much. I was sleeping 3 hours a day, and there's just so much going on that I didn't realize it was catching up to me. So someone actually rear-ended my McLaren, and it was this old lady. I've told this story like a million times on my podcast. I'm sorry. So she rear-ends
Tell it.
she rear-ends my car, and as soon as she sees the door swing up, you're speeding. She was just freaked out. It's like, well, if I was speeding, you wouldn't have rear-ended me. But I was like, that didn't matter to me. I was like, are you okay? Blah blah blah. All these things. Paramedics came to check her out to make sure she was fine. I felt pretty relaxed, and I was like, you know what? It's the end of September, and I'm gonna have to winter store my car anyways. And by the time I am able to drive it in the springtime, it's gonna be taken care of by the insurance. So I'm not really concerned about that. I'm really easygoing in life like that. So I wasn't stressed out, but the paramedics took my blood pressure and it was like 130 over 110, which is kind of like in the yellow red zone of you're at risk of heart disease and whatnot. So I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe, and the paramedics were trying to justify it. Maybe you're a little hot. Maybe you're stressed out from the accident. I was like, no, not really. I feel like I'm pretty relaxed right now. So I didn't really think much of it. Next month, I get my blood work done again. Same thing, 130 over 110. It was a little bit higher than that. I don't remember the exact numbers, but the nurse was like, oh, you must have had coffee. You must be stressed. And I was like, no, I just woke up from my sleep and I didn't have any caffeine yet. So that's when I really started to realize I was literally working myself to death. I was sleeping 3 hours a day. I was so focused on just creating the best content that I possibly could. And I wasn't taking care of my health because I don't have time to cook anything healthy. I have to buy takeout. I don't have time to sleep. I have all of these team members behind me. If I stop working, everything's gonna crumble. I need to just keep working, keep producing. Don't get me wrong, I love producing it, but I didn't have a good work-life balance. It was so bad to the point where when I started exercising again, I'm not even shitting you. And I would do a 10-minute walk and my abs would be sore for the whole day. That's how out of shape I was.
Man. Yeah.
My abs couldn't even stabilize me walking normally because I didn't need to walk. I'd wake up from bed, get to my computer, maybe go to the washroom, and that's it.
So that was your life for how long? So every day,
For
basically 7 days a week, just straight up.
7 days a week, probably 364 days of the year. I was sleeping 3 to 4 hours with a few naps in between.
God, man. I mean, I had my own time like that, period like that, but even at its worst, it wasn't that much, it wasn't that much.
But I didn't think that it was bad.
Yeah.
But looking back,
yeah,
it just slowly happened over time.
yeah.
I was slightly more irritable because I wasn't sleeping properly. I wasn't the best person I could be in my relationship at the time. And it just slowly crept up on me. And I started slowly gaining weight and all these things. And that's when I started getting my life together. I started exercising, nutrition, therapy, a little bit of everything.
That's
Pretty good.
that. I'm so happy, genuinely, that you're doing better. It can be so isolating and challenging for all the benefits, for all the great things about this, and we're so fortunate to have this opportunity to make videos on YouTube. It's amazing, but it can be extremely isolating just by the nature of the job, even with the team around you. Did you work with your team at the time, like in the same location, or were you guys separated?
There are some people that we worked in the same location, and there's others that worked remotely in different countries and whatnot. So,
Gotcha.
but for the most part, I was separate, especially during the lockdown period.
Yeah, so eventually you go through this time, and again, I think that when I spoke to you, it was around, I think you were either just coming out of this or just going in. I'm not sure exactly when we spoke
Oh,
about this, but
that
yeah.
was in probably 2018, 2019,
Yeah, so right
before all of
before.
that.
Yeah.
So this was round two of depression that I didn't even
Yeah.
realize was depression.
So round one of depression, again, going back to the time that you couldn't, like you were just, I think I might have asked you why you weren't making content as much or something. You might, I forgot what it was or but so what was going on there? Like, how did you, in bed all day and stuff like that, and just not getting out and not talking to people? I remember we both shared this about like getting a little social anxiety, just leaving your house and having a normal conversation with somebody, like super simple one. How did you get out of that?
That was when YouTube first started, and I didn't purposely isolate myself. It just kind of happened because you don't
Yeah.
need to leave the house to record a video or to edit it. It just happens that you don't leave.
Yeah.
And that's when I feel like socializing is like a muscle. And if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. It's going to atrophy. So it just kind of happened over time where I just got into routine. And then at that time, that was burnout where I couldn't even get out of bed to make a video. Like as soon as I sit on the desk, I could pump it out. I love recording, but the act of getting up and out of bed, that was the struggle. That was when a few close moderators kind of knew I was up. They're like, "Hey, what's up? You're not something wrong? Your thumbnails look like they're lazy. You're not posting as often." And I was like, "Oh shit, how did you know?"
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
just know.
Yeah. How did you so you mentioned especially on like the second wave just now how you were able to overcome this, right? And you feel great now, and that's just amazing. For folks at home, right, who obviously this is not something that just you dealt with or just I dealt with in the past. It's something that, especially coming out of COVID, especially with a lot of people working from home and everything else, right? It could go on and on. But what advice would you give to people out there? Not to sound so cliche in the question, but like, what advice would you give to people who are struggling right now? Maybe in a similar spot that you were, that they just gone so far. Like you know, you made it sound so easy when you're like, I started talking to a therapist and working out, and now I feel great. Is it what actually got you to? Was it a tough conversations? Was it a what was it? How do you start?
The breaking point for me was that I'm 0 to 100. I used to smoke a pack a day, and I decided one day that what, I'm not going to smoke anymore. So I just quit cold turkey. That's my personality. So with
Gotcha.
with this, it was the light bulb was my blood pressure. I'm literally working myself to death. I need to change this now. What's the point of working so much and just not really living life?
Yeah.
So I just needed a better work life balance. To go back on your question on advice, it's really cliche, but this isn't global overarching advice, but at least for me it was. If I could go back to tell myself what I could do better is get in 1,000 steps a day. Then maybe after that 2,000 and try. I would try to aim for 10,000 steps a day. It sounds like a lot, but it's good to get fresh air, get some sunlight, and for I'm speaking specifically for me, and it's not for
Yeah.
everyone, but it just happens slowly over time where at, from my experience, I started feeling better and better, maybe like 0.1% every day. And it just kind of the clouds kind of just go away after a little while, slowly, just from more exercise and just being more cognizant of that. And meditating helped me. Better nutrition really helped me. We don't know what the gut biome does yet, but there's preliminary evidence that your gut biome does link to how it affects your brain in certain ways.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think those are all
I
great.
wish there was like a concrete answer, like you got to do this and this, but the only things that really helped me was that I just didn't eat well and I didn't exercise well. And everyone's like, "Oh, just exercise if you're depressed." It's like, no, that's a start to one of many things that you can do.
Yeah. I completely agree, and what I say all the time too, and what helps me is is starting to form little tiny habits, little tiny ones.
Yep.
Sometimes can take you out of depression or whatever funk that you're in life, right? And so it can be really small and menial. It can be, flossing 2 times a day. Like it can be very basic, like little things. And if you can add up these little things and turn these routines into habits, eventually things just start falling into place and you start noticing yourself a little bit happier. So for me, that's kind of the tactic that I use. And I still fall into, like, I'm sure everybody does, right? I still fall into my little funks from time to time. And that's usually what I try to do is cultivate, okay, what are 5 or 10 small things that I can do that I can add to my day, even if it's just scheduling and stuff like that, getting up a little earlier, whatever it may be. And I found that really helpful. So it
It
sounds
it
like,
can
yeah,
be even as small as just doing your dishes as soon as you're done with it. So you
yeah.
you clean one bowl and you're done. Whereas when you see a pile of dishes in your sink, it's just so daunting. It just gets worse and worse and it compounds. These little small habits really help me too.
So true, man. So true. What do you do outside now that you've carved out a little bit of time? Obviously, you work out now. I imagine that physical transformation that you went through uh must have had a profound effect on your mental. I mean, you alluded to it earlier, but how do you feel right now? What do you train? What do you do for physical activity?
Um, I do a little bit of high intensity interval training on the assault bike, little
Okay,
bit of steady state incline. I do a lot of weightlifting, lots of walking with my dog.
cool.
I don't know, just a little bit of everything.
Do you go to the gym or do you work out from home?
I have a gym at home.
Nice. What was that face?
This is
Nice.
answering both your questions.
I go to the gym, but back to your point earlier about like never leaving the house. I thought about maybe building like a gym or whatever the heck in my garage or whatever. And
Mhm.
then I'm like, dude, that's the only time I get out of my house consistently every day, just to leave and get in the vehicle and go somewhere. So that's for me, it's like it's extremely valuable to leave my house. I thought about
Yep.
maybe getting an office outside of my house, which is stupid because I live alone with my child half the time, and that's it. Just to get out of the house sometimes. Do you work from home?
I work from home.
Gotcha.
It,
Do
it
you
is
like it?
nice to have a separation of office and home, just so that you have that mental barrier.
Yeah. Have you always
As
worked
the
from
person
home?
who has a bed from the, yeah, I've always worked from home.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
But originally, I did have my studio on my upstairs floor, and then as soon as I walk up the stairs, that was kind of like a mental shift of this is work now.
Yeah. No, that's nice. At least you have that separation. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm sure you get asked this a million times a month or whatever, but it's advice for other creators out there, especially now. I was just on a panel talking about something very similar to this, but if you're an up and coming content creator or you aspired to be a content creator right now, it feels like it's a lot different than back in our day, man. I feel like we're old men, and it's like, you know, I feel like the bar, because of people like you, right, especially in like the mobile genre, the bar has been set so high. Uh, if there's a creator out there who maybe just starting out, what advice would you give them? How can they grow or find their own niche?
I would say put out content that you would genuinely enjoy, and just if you really love this stuff, I'm constantly learning. I'll listen to a podcast about just YouTube tips and here and there. Even if I can only take away one fact from there, I still kind of enjoy that. I think that the biggest thing is that you just have to keep putting out content and make your content 1% better every time.
So, squad.
If you're gonna be a YouTuber, you don't really want to study what all the YouTube gurus are doing here and there. You're not, if you're studying to be an NBA player and you read all the strategies and all these things, you're still, after 5 years of studying how to be the best NBA player, you're still not going to know how to shoot the ball. So I
Yeah.
think it's good to have practice as well.
Completely agree. That's it, to me. It's just, and I think that you hit the nail on the head. It's as simple as that. I mean, obviously, it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, a lot of thought throughout the process, but it's a lot of discipline. But you're right. Sometimes it's just like the barometer is: would I click on this video? Would I be interested in this video? Would I watch this video? And that's kind of it.
Exactly. And
It's kind of
then
it.
so you're talking about would I click on this video as in the thumbnail and title, and then from there you kind of refine and edit the video. Would I stay on this video and continue watching it? So
Yeah.
you kind of have to produce something that you would genuinely enjoy watching
I'm
for
going
a
to ask
video.
a YouTube tip very selfishly. And I alluded to this in the intro as well. But you messaged me and you're like, I think you should go with Chat with Ash on the channel instead of Clash with Ash. Elaborate selfishly for me, OJ.
Yeah, so for I know there are people that were voting for Clash with Ash, but I feel like that's more nostalgia than anything because you're asking the same audience that already knows who you are for that. But for Chat with Ash, I feel like I love your podcast content, your long form content, and you're more than just Clash Royale. And I want to selfishly, I want to see more of your chatting content. I want to see it do well. So I feel like I rebrand so people are like, oh yeah, he's not just the Clash Royale guy. He's the not chatty. He's the guy that
This
has
guy
really
never
great
shuts up.
conversations.
Yeah.
No, he's the guy. Yeah.
I love that. I respond to you that day, and I'll say the same. Like I don't know exactly 100% the direction I want to go on this channel, but I do know that I love talking to other creators, such as yourself, and I like this is what I'm passionate about, So I don't know if it's gonna do well on YouTube or whatever, but I just know that ultimately where I'm at right now in my content journey, so to speak, is like this is what really makes me happy, and hopefully it does some viewers as well. So thanks to you guys, for actually coming on and chatting with me. I wanted to ask about like going back to Clash Royale for a moment. I noticed I know you read Reddit or whatever because I've seen you comment there quite a bit, right?
Mhm.
So back in this whole update, the whole evolution and everything like that, level 15, blah, 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 you, on top of almost every single other creator, probably other than B-Rad, got like tons of hate for not speaking up and being more of a voice of the community. I wanted to ask you what your perspective on that was. A, did it bother you? And B, do you feel like you have some sort of obligation to be the voice of the people? And also, like, do you factor in your relationship with Supercell at all?
Yeah, no, Supercell is really great as a company. They treat us pretty fairly and everything, but they've never paid us to censor our words or our opinions. So I've always spoken my mind.
Same.
And for Reddit, I don't really feel angry about that because I did release a video where I expressed my distaste with level 15 and how it's not a good idea. But you can very easily get into a wormhole of negativity. Emotions sell, especially rage bait kind of content.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
not the kind of stuff that brings me joy. And over the long term, I wouldn't personally watch that stuff myself. I just don't like spreading negativity because people are here to play a game. And if you're going to play a game, I would want to see like, oh yeah, Clash Royale sucks. That's a news update. Anyways, moving on. I still want to play the game. People that are watching Clash Royale content, imagine you're just watching some channel talking for 2 months nonstop. The devs suck, level 15 sucks, evolution sucks. It's like nonstop negativity for 2 months. It's so emotionally draining that you just physically can't watch that content. It's like, yeah, it is good and it pays you. It's front loaded payment in the very beginning where you're gonna get 1 million views just shitting on everything.
Yeah.
Because that's just human nature to gravitate towards negativity. That's why all the news articles have all these negative kind of titles. It pulls views and it's easy to get into that wormhole. But I don't know. I personally don't enjoy spreading negativity or watching that. Like maybe for one video to get up to date on the news, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I explained that very well.
No, I think you explained it very well, man.
I'm gonna be
yeah.
on Reddit and they're gonna be like, OJ's stupid. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, that's a given no matter what. Nah, but seriously, man, I think that I don't know if you saw like my video or whatever talking about a different direction on this channel, but I echoed the same sentiment, and I really fell into it a lot worse than you did, or a lot better than you did. I don't know, depending on how you will look at it, right? But like, I was just covering the daily hate and drama of Clash Royale, and then, you know. it was doing well. That was a weird thing about it, to your point, right? But then you start thinking. I always think I actually mentioned this guy in the judo interview too, and I know who Jake One Hive is, but like, he was always super critical of Clash of Clans, and then I saw like. And I think he was great. I love that guy. Like I really do as a friend back then, as a content creator.
This is Jake from One Hive teaching y'all to suck less.
Dude, it was the best, man. He was one of my favorite channels out there starting out.
Yep.
But he was so critical of the game that I felt like it hurt himself and his channel. You know, I felt like inevitably, to your point, it's like it's a two-pronged thing. Number one is from just a strategic sense. Do you want to disenfranchise the people who do watch your videos because they actually like playing the game? A. And B, is that the like, and again, going back to the legacy, I know you don't care about it necessarily, but like, when I'm gone and dead someday, do I want my kid and my grandkids being like, look at what grandpa used to do? And it's only me ranting and raving and being angry all the time about a video game, you know? Like, I don't know if I want that out there, you know?
I did actually watch a ton of Jake to watch Laloon strategies, Hog strategies, but I did skip his negativity because it's like, I'm enjoying this game. I don't want to hear this guy bitching about it all the time. And anyways, it was just very draining watching him complain all the time.
Yeah. No. That's how I felt like I was, you know? That's how I felt like that I was becoming that, you know? So, yeah, it was one of those decisions that was kind of, it wasn't really tough at the time, but now I feel like it's the right one because I like talking about, you know, shit that matters or that I like, I guess, at the very least, right?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself covering games outside of the Supercell ecosystem at all?
I really like
on your main channel, I should say.
I really like mobile games. I play a lot of clickbait games right now.
Okay. Like?
It's called Gear Clicker, and you just mindlessly merge all these gears. I don't know.
Okay.
I just like covering things that I like, that I genuinely enjoy.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of Supercell games. I'm excited for the future of what they have to unfold, not only for I don't even know if Clash Heroes is still in development, but that sounds really dope.
It does.
Their console PC division allegedly is going to be pretty exciting.
Ooh, I'll be real with you, bro. I have no idea. They have a console PC division? I didn't know that.
So it's not technically that, but they do have a studio somewhere in California where they hired directors with console experience and they want them to manage teams. That's what it was in the job description. So they're basically implicating that they want to penetrate console PC, but allegedly that's in the job description.
It's a Supercell official. You heard it first from OJ Gaming. Bro, do you have a favorite? Like, if you could make wave a magic wand in any genre of in the Clash universe, let's say, or whatever, the Supercell universe, do you have a certain genre that you would love to see, whether it's PC or mobile?
I want to see tower defense done the Supercell way. I love tower defense so much. I played a lot of StarCraft 1, Warcraft 3, all these things. The custom maps on the tower defense were just so great.
Totally agree. That would be awesome. I would like to see that, and kind of like Clash Heroes too. I would love to see, especially if they're talking PC. I don't know if I'd actually have the time, nor would I want to get hooked to a game like this, but like an MMORPG in that universe, I think it'd be very interesting. You know?
An MMO would be great,
right? It'd be pretty wild. Hey man, I'm gonna hit you with a curveball before we let you go here. And this one, I didn't give you a heads up on this one, so feel free to pass. I can edit it out or whatever. But I'm obsessed with the concept of time. Okay, and I think you might know where I'm going here because I tweeted something. I don't know, like I binge YouTube videos on time doesn't exist or time's an illusion or time's whatever, and you responded to one of my tweets. Yeah.
Time is a human construct.
So I want you to elaborate on that because you responded. Like most of the time I tweet something like that or whatever, and you know, people are like eye roll, or they're like, okay, I don't understand, whatever, or they're like, you know, but you actually put a thought. I forget exactly what it was, but I think something about like the entropy of the universe or whatever. But you say time is a construct. How do you look at time? How does that inform your worldview?
I don't try to think too hard on it because it just leads to existential crises.
Yes.
But time is a human construct because it doesn't flow linearly. It's dependent on space, obviously, with gravity and all these things. and it's just how we can't perceive in 4 dimensions. So there's no point in me trying to perceive it as a human. But it is proven that it's non-linear.
Correct.
So
And that's what like really gets. I guess you know what I'm oddly addicted to existential crises, OJ. You know, like I actually I lean into it rather than away from it. You know, and that's what I find some weird, odd sense of solace. I can link some videos for the viewers who might want to go ahead and join me in my
I
crisis.
love it. I love
But
how fascinating this stuff is.
me
I'm
too,
really big
man.
on time.
It's basically, you know, that well, yeah. I'm not going to try to give a
Einstein
dissertation,
proved
right?
100 years ago that time
Yeah,
is not linear.
it's true. Meaning that like the world as we experience it, the future and the past, it's to your point, it's a construct of the human, you know, of us, the way that we experience it. It's
It's the
not,
way we're
yeah,
able to explain it with our 3D perception.
exactly, and it's mind blowing to me. And it also opens up a world of almost it feels like science fiction, but it's really just science, you know, in terms
I think
of
that's why I like it so much. It
me
feels like
too,
science fiction, but it's not.
right? Me too, man.
I've
So
watched every episode of Star Trek. I love sci-fi.
same. Actually, I haven't done any of the new stuff. What is your favorite Star Trek? Let's get nerdy here, man. What's your favorite season
I like
or
the next
whatever?
gen. I like
Yeah,
TNG, the next generation, then Voyager.
me too. On the same 1-2 combo. Maybe it's our age or something. I don't know, but those are my favorites as well.
I do
Uh,
turn 34 this year.
okay, well, I've got you by quite a bit, but still, I still agree with your assessment there.
My brothers forced me to watch all these
There you go.
mature things. They're 10 years older than me, and that
Oh,
was on the
really?
TV. They had control of the remote. So
I didn't even realize you had brothers. You have two. Are you one of three?
yeah, I'm the youngest brother, and my brothers are all about 10 years older.
What does your family think of your career?
My brothers, they're proud of me because they basically raised me. My parents raised me on minimum wage, and they were working all the time, so I never really saw them as much. And my brothers had to up the responsibilities for that, so they're proud of me. And my parents are 73. They're just confused. They think I'm an internet billionaire.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. But that's really cool that they're proud of you. It's weird because as a evolution of a content creator, it's like at first they're like, "Oh, look at you! You're putting up these little videos on YouTube. That's cute." You know, I remember when I had my son. I remember when I had my son. The nurse was like, "Career, mom and dad career or whatever," and I was like, and I hesitated. I'm like, do I say YouTuber? Because I know they're just going to think I'm an unemployed poor thing in my mom's basement, like, you know, whatever. But I did. And she was like, okay, YouTuber, you know? And I'm like, I should have just lied and said entertainer or something like that.
Lex
But
says male entertainer, and
who
it's
does?
very Lex.
Oh,
It's
I think I
true.
recall him saying that. I guess that
Yep.
is true, technically. Hey, man, you've been very generous with your time. Is there anything that you wanted to say or talk about or anything before I let you go here, man?
No, I think you hit a lot of points. Everything's pretty chill. Just I've been really working on a nice work-life balance, and I'm very happy with where things are right now.
You know what I should ask you? Speaking of as a final question, actually, is I should ask you
Sure.
about. I saw the I didn't message you about it, but I should have. But I saw the announcement that you were a co-owner of Tribe. I think I have the language right. I might not. You can correct me if I'm wrong. What does
Mhm.
that entail, and what is your I guess what is your role there, and do you see that is that something you're interested the business side of things growing over time, or just talk to me a little bit about that.
There's nothing really in paper on what my responsibilities are, but I do help a lot of content creators, and we scope out up and coming people, and I kind of just help mentor them, and I love doing that. I love teaching people. That's one of my passions. I've helped some creators go from 0 to 10,000 and 10,000 to 100,000, and
Love that.
that's just really fun to me. Just to see someone grow is so intrinsically rewarding.
It really truly is. Is there did I imagine the answer is no, but did anybody like help you out in the early days? It didn't seem like you needed help in the back in the day, you know? Mentorship wise.
Not one thing. I wouldn't say a single person helped me,
Yeah.
but well, Pat helped me with like the business end of things. Even talking to you and just all these creator trips and just having conversations. I feel like
Yeah.
even a creator that's new, there's always something to learn from everyone. And these creator trips are so cool to have these conversations and see all these different perspectives from everyone. So in a sense, this is super cheesy, but everyone was kind of like a mentor to me.
I love that, man. It's a great note to end things on, and now you pay it forward by being mentored to creators out there. It was really cool.
And some of the small creators, they'll
Yep.
be like, "Oh, why don't with this advice, you should do this for your channel." And I was like, "You're right, I should, but that's a lot of work, so I'm not going to."
I could emphasize with that for sure, man.
Yeah.
OJ, always a pleasure catching up with you, man. I'll have all 8 of your channels, anything I can find on you in the description below for folks out
Sure.
there. Thanks again for joining me, man.